What is trust? Trust is a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. Hi everyone, and welcome to Words with That One Lady. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the podcast. It is a beautiful evening, and I'm sure I am sure now that by the intro, you might have an inkling of what we're talking about today. So, today on the podcast, we're talking about trust. Like trusting people, having trust and having faith in people, I guess. Before we even continue, I would like to say that I, host of Words with That One Lady, has trust issues. And it always is my introduction whenever I meet people that I feel like are going to be important in my life going forward. It's always oh my God, we're having a great time, great conversation, but I have trust issues, so cut me some slack. But I think in the last year, I have been faced with life in such a way that I had to confront this situation, like why this is a thing. And I just saw something that I wrote on the 28th of November last year. And it kind of sums up everything. So I wrote, over the years, I've always protected my space. Over the years, I have been so careful with whom I trust. Over the years, I have struggled with trusting or believing people. Out of fear, I have kept people at bay. Out of past bad experiences, I sometimes walk on eggshells. I do a good job at sharing my concerns when they arise, but I need to trust that my partner loves me and means well. I need to trust that my partner will do nothing to jeopardize us. I need to trust that we have an amazing thing and it's going nowhere. This was like an affirmation for me. And it is quite jarring to kind of read back to myself, because I was just working, right? And I saw this and it kind of made me want to record this episode, because I actually recently just confronted this conversation with a few people, a few friends of mine. And it was also part of the things that I had to confront with very good friends of mine last year. Also, this made me listen to an episode that I recorded in January last year. If you remember, guys, I recorded an episode about friendships and navigating friendships. I think if you go back January 29th, 2023, that was when the episode was posted. And in this episode, I talked about how friendships kind of dwindle and da-da-da-da. And I'm sure you all listening right now, you have friendships that you guys cherish a lot. And to even have a friendship or even be able to nurture a friendship, you need to trust whoever you're having a friendship with. But if there's something I've come to realize is that, and my friends who will listen to this will get it. I've realized that over the years, I have had friendships that I have two things that I do on standby. One, you're my friend, I have no problems with you, but I don't overtrust. I don't put too much hope and faith and expectations and all that, because of the fear of being let down. And in order not to be let down, I'll only do things that I think I can do. And if anything goes wrong, I'm like, oh well and good. But it has a very, 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 very terrible connotation to it, in the sense that imagine having a friendship or having a friend that you just never, had an expectation of, and you just, it's all laissez-faire. It's kind of sad, because like, are you really nurturing that friendship, right? So it really, this, I had to really confront this last year. And I'm very avoidant when it comes to some things. I would defend myself and I would just, wriggle out of the situation just to let peace reign. But I think I have struggled a lot with trusting. And it has come from how I grew up, the things that I've experienced growing up, and the things I've seen my parents experience as I was growing up with them as my parents, right? And I watched them, be amazing to people, do great and for people and be so nice and lovely and all that. And then, they expect that when things are going wrong for them too, that these people will show up. And 9 times out of 10, based on my experience, this is not talking about someone else, this is talking about my life experience, these people just never show up. Pops will go all out for people, mom will go all out for people, run around, do so much. And once my parents find themselves in a pickle and they need people to stand up for them, you see how everybody just disappears. Literally disappear. If you go back to the episode that I'm talking about, the January 29th episode, if you remember what I said in that episode that my mom would always say that even when you have friends, remember that family is very important. And she always told us that because she always told us that particular sentence, or she always reiterated that to us, because she would always say that when you're going through something, people on the outside might not even care as much as your family will care for you. So make sure that you don't mess up your family relationships. That it's okay if your friends don't come up for you when things are bad, but no matter what, family is still family, so stick to it, right? So I kind of grew up with that mentality where I ensured that my sisters were my friends, or are my friends. It's quite interesting how sometimes, life kind of molds you into somebody that you didn't even know you were becoming. Oh my God. Anyway, the moral of the story, or where I'm going to with this, is that last year I was confronted with some situations that made me believe, or that made me realize that, oh my God, your lack of trust in people, or your lack of faith in humanity has really made you be very, very averse to being open in romantic relationships, in real platonic relationships, and in just friendships. I think it's something I'm beginning to work on gradually. No man is an island. Not to say that I expect the worst from people, but I have come to realize that I don't expect anything from anybody. And I would accept when people mess up without even thinking too much of it. And I don't think that's the best way to live. The other day I wrote on Twitter, I was like, oh my God, I have so much unlearning to do so that my kids don't have to go through this. And I'm grateful for the humans in my life right now, because I guess my openness about my struggles have helped them be able to navigate me. And I've also been working through navigating them as well. Although I've experienced in all of my struggles with not trusting people, I've experienced lack of graces, but I've also experienced graces from people. And I appreciate everyone, even those who are still struggling to give me graces. I appreciate you too, because it must not be easy to be navigating, not to understand why someone just doesn't trust people. Literally, I would almost always my mantra, I don't trust people. My very good friend Whitney is the complete opposite of me. Whitney will tell you that you are innocent until proven guilty. But I am more you're guilty already from the beginning. I didn't want to hear it. You're already guilty until I prove you innocent, which is not the best way to live life. Meaning, because, I realized last year that I was always completely on the edge for no freaking reason. Just because of how much I don't trust, how much I am, I feel like everybody's out for blood, that everybody's out for wickedness. It's not the way to live, and it's what I'm coming to realize. And if there's anything, my parents' experiences, although are also part of my experiences, although I also experience some of these things, shouldn't shape how I treat new people that I meet, shouldn't shape how my perspective of a new person should be. But in my very tiny side of my brain, I am like, when people meet me, they shouldn't expect that I'm just going to be exactly the way they are. I went to dinner with a friend recently, and that's what I was saying. I was like, nobody should expect that I'm going to be like this. Take me for who I am. But then I called myself back and I was like, nah, fam, you can't say that. You should be a better version of yourself and not continue to harbor stupidity just because of past experiences. Trust. Like you guys already know, I was single for a while. So I think that also fed into my delulu about not trusting people. And in my singleness, I was very, very comfortable. And I was in the space of, you know what? Ready to be a rich auntie, Still will be a rich auntie, but maybe not doing the single. Not doing the single, that's what I mean. But, it's, you know, this is also one of the things that my friend mentioned on my birthday that I mentioned at the last episode about independence, in the sense that I lacked trust so much that I only depended on myself, and I felt like I could do it all by myself, and if I cannot do it, maybe it's just not what God wants for me. Literally, that was my thought process. And I'm coming to the realization that you cannot do it alone. Friends are just such an integral part of your life, humans in general. And I'm coming to realize that people would always mess up. People would always like do something wrong. People would also always not do the best, you know, and sometimes not because they're doing it on purpose. It could just be because that's what life is dealing them and they don't have a choice than to be the way they are. Or some are even just growing and getting to learn about being a friend and, you know, treating trust properly. I, on the other hand, just need to learn how to, what do you call that word? I need to be able to handle my expectations, of which I never have any of anybody. But when I'm beginning to open up to having expectations of people, I should gradually give people the levels of expectations to have of them until they prove themselves good enough. I should also not compromise who I am, in the sense that I take my time, get to know people before I let them all in. I shouldn't get rid of that. But still, it shouldn't take, like, when people have proven themselves to be great people, I shouldn't give them the graces. But I feel like I do, you know. This is like a rant about trusting and not trusting anybody, but it's just like a realization for me that my life experiences, my parents' life experiences, my upbringing has shaped me in such a way that I don't really trust people. And there are people, don't get me wrong, by the way, because I think I've been going for 14 minutes now. I'm saying I don't trust people. There are people in my life that I trust with all of my heart. There are people in my life that I can, you know, tell anything and feel comfortable. But they get there. It's like we get there over time, over building our friendships. But I've come to realize that I do it too much, I think. I don't know. It's just been a thing. And in the last year, I think my need for privacy, my need for selecting who I put, you know, myself into their hands has led to some of my very good friends feeling that I don't trust them, feeling that they don't mean so much to me. And that has really hurt. And I've sincerely not even known how to take care of the situation. That's the issue. Literally don't even know how to repair it. Yeah, am I supposed to sit down and be like, hey, this is the situation? Because the truth is, I've had conversations and people don't get it. So I always just resign to not really talking or saying anything and just being me, right? What I do mostly is I keep up I don't act weird. No, that's never me. I keep up the friendship. I make sure that from my actions, they see that I mean well. And this singular act was nothing malicious, right? And I've also felt overwhelmed over time because, growing up in an all-girls house where you girls just told each other things and nobody else. Like, you go out, have your day, don't say anything. You have friends, you guys just play, you gist and everything. And when you go home, you're like, I'm running to my sisters to tell them everything that's happening. Even on our group chat, I'm like, guys, this, that. Do you understand? Or to Whitney. But like, I have found out that I've made friends over the years, and I've gotten to a good space with them, but they have a particular extent they expect us to have gotten to in our friendship, to be able to say some things, share some things that I have not, and it has now become an issue. And I don't know. Anyway, life. And I, to be sincere, I am growing. I am learning these things, and I'm learning to be better, in the sense that none of these people have done anything wrong to me. I should be able to share things with them when I'm comfortable, and I should be able to share things with them and not let them hear things from other people, which is so much better. My very good friend Ibuku knows how to navigate these things, and I'm learning from her. She does great at doing these things. She talks me down from my ledges whenever I spiral about like the way I feel about things. And also I think I just hold so much dear to my heart that I just want to protect it. Yeah, that's another thing too. It's just so much. There's some things I just hold so dear, and I'm just like, nah, I'm just gonna protect this with all of my heart. I'm not gonna share with nobody. Anyway. Life is funny like that though. Our experiences, it's so funny how we don't know what our experiences does to us. Like the way we grew up, the way, we saw our parents experience life, the way we saw our siblings experience life. We don't know how it actually like comes back to like shape our lives. And of late, I have noticed how much this shaped me. And it's quite interesting. It's been quite interesting. The funny thing, as much as I say I have trust issues, anyone who I call my friend, anyone who I have spoken to at least once in a month, I trust. Or I speak to at least once every month, I trust. If not, I don't think I'll be speaking to you at all. Or if by any chance we've, crossed paths, and when we speak, it's like, nothing happened, I trust you. But I think it's also hard for me to realize that piece. This is such a therapy session for me, by the way. Mom, I don't know. I think I was telling my mom recently that nobody teaches you how to navigate life. You just have to navigate it yourself, and then you fail, trial and error, and then you figure things out. I wasn't really taught about friends. But I'm learning about friends, and I'm doing better about friends. And I cherish every single one of my friends I love a lot, because they know. But that's the thing too though. I would do I would go all out for my friends. I love to show up for people. It just makes me happy. Just as in, aside from anything, showing up for people makes me happy. And I think I learned that from my parents, My parents are people who, like, both my mom and my dad, both of them, Jesus Christ, if somebody's wedding, they're there. I remember when I was much younger, all of us would leave our rooms for visitors because, there's wedding happening. My parents would, pick them up, do this, do that, help. And that's me. I love to show out for people. But the truth is, all these people, I saw every one of them not show up for my parents. Oh, it got to a time when my family went through a situation at some point. Everybody turned their back on us. Everyone individually. And I saw it happen. And I told myself, no. Every one of these people will see us do great. Yeah. life experiences just put you in this corner where you just are guarded as heck. And I know I'm guarded. I am very guarded. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had this conversation with my sisters if they feel the same way. Because growing up, my sisters had more friends than I did. My mom would always like joke with it. I'm like, tell my sisters every time, I'm like, oh, my friend. Myself, all through primary school and secondary school, I never would go home and be like, oh, my friend did this. My friend said that. My friend did this. And I did have people, but like, I think they were more of acquaintances in secondary and primary school, but I done anything else. It was, I think, when I grew older that some of these friends became very important to me, and some are still very important to me till date. So yeah, it's a struggle to navigate friendships. It is. Especially navigating friendships, and then the concept of trust in friendships. Because I feel personally that I can have a friend that I don't have to trust. I'll be there for them. I'll show up for them. I'll do everything I need to do for them. And that's it. Like, say two, these extra shows, like no extra stuff. If they need me, I'll be there for them. But the truth is, if I need anybody, I don't request for help, which is also a debilitating thing to experience as a human being. Literally, I would be there for people, show up. I don't expect anybody to do anything for me. I don't expect anybody to show up for me. It's a bad way to live life. Terrible way to live life. And that's why I feel like I can have friends and I can, navigate friendships without having to play with the trust words. I think when it becomes a problem is when, I begin to navigate relationships, or I begin to navigate like people who have been in my life over the years. It's a struggle. Yeah. It's something I've come to realize. And I'm sharing this because I believe that some of us are experiencing the same thing, or in a sense that you grew up a certain way and your experience of growing up has now shaped the way you are, and everybody feels like there's something wrong with you, while it has just been life that has made you the way you are. But people don't get it because they either had a better experience in life, a better upbringing, a better thing. It's not like I didn't have a bad growing up situation. No, it was just that growing up, I did not see my parents have great experiences with people. But they were one of the nicest and, giving humans that I ever knew in my life. But I never saw people give to them. So therefore, I grew up with the notion of it's okay to be nice to people. Never be wicked. The Bible says you should, love with all your heart. And I'm going to love. But some weird way, the Bible did not say you should expect people to love you back. So I don't have that expectation. I remember having these very huge conversations with some of my friends after church, with me, Ori, and a few others. And I think IBK was there too, I don't remember. And during this conversation, everybody went irate when I said, I don't expect anything from anybody. People were like, what? Oh my God, what do you mean? And I'm like, no, I don't. I will do everything in my power to make sure that you're fine. But I don't expect if I'm in the same situation tomorrow that you would do the same for me. It's okay if you don't. I get it. You might not even be you might not even have the capacity to help me. In as much as I know that that's a very, very terrible mentality to have, it has helped me over the years. It has helped me not to get angry at people. It has helped me not to be mad at people because I watched my parents be mad, angry, sad, and unhappy with people that I didn't want to ever experience that. I felt like my happiness was in my hands and I needed to take control of it. Like someone did not have to make me feel some type of way. Yeah. If I'm sad, I would know because life happened or I decided to put myself in a situation where I'll be sad. But I never wanted my sadness or my being down to be because someone did this to me. Whew. That was a mouthful. trusting is a lie. And, when I talk about my experience last year with some of my friends, I don't even think it had anything to do with trusting. Even though that came up several times, again, concept upon concept, I struggle with a lot when it comes to this trusting situation. But, I've just I think it's a realization for me now that it's all stemming from how I grew up and what I saw growing up. And since September last year, I have been making a conscious effort. September or October, I can't remember now, to try to do better. And I started making a conscious effort because I was navigating being in love again, and it was a struggle to let love lead, or let the person love you. Yeah. So I think from September, October, November last year, I told myself the truth of, this is why you are the way you are. And you need to breathe in and breathe out. And know that you are grown enough to make good friendships and not just do things for people or be nice to people and just randomly expect. Don't lose that, woman. But still, give your friends graces. Give the people around you graces, that they care about you. They have your best interest at heart. And it's not all doom and gloom, right? Yeah. Oh God, that was a mouthful. Trusting is hard for me, and I'm doing better. I'm navigating it gradually. And I would say that I have done better with explaining myself, because at first I hated having to explain myself. I just felt like people should just get it. Secondly, I didn't like that I had to explain myself. But over time, I have seen that having to explain helps people understand where your head is at. Although I know that I've tried to explain in the past and it just never comes out right. Swear down, never just comes out nicely. Like, it just never comes right. Because imagine telling your friend that it's not like I don't trust you. It's just that, it just never comes out right. But it's been a work in progress. And I'm grateful for all my friends still, for seeing this me and still being who they are. I'm grateful for them. I don't know. Is it that every other person out there had such a great, experience, or their parents had great experiences with people? But I think my takeaway from all of this is my parents' experience and my experience. And what someone else has done shouldn't be what I am taking in my head as what I want to hold to heart. In the sense that Mr. A did this, it doesn't mean that Sister C or Brother C that's coming in 3 years' time to be my friend is going to do the same thing. I think that's my takeaway from this. And trust God. This is the ultimate. I think I always end up with that every time. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to bring it back to God, but trust God. Trust God. He's the ultimate person. Anyway, guys, that was it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, have a wonderful week, guys. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it so much, don't forget to share. Let your friends know. Let your sister, brothers, uncle, mothers, fathers know about it. It can help anybody. This can help anybody at all. So go ahead and share it. If you also have a question, comments, things you like me to do more, or anything you like me to hear, go ahead and leave me an email. Check the description and you will find my email there, and I would love to hear back from you guys. Thank you so much once again, and until next time, keep living, keep loving, and ensure that you're living your truth. And until the next podcast, have a wonderful day. Bye guys.